Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Weekly Games Chat. I think that's the first time we've had like a normal,
just kind of
no
giggling.
Last week you were like blue shirts, and the week before
blue shirt. I was all like, ha ha.
John was trying to mess with me. I think the week before that, or not too long ago. So I kind of had to take it a different way.
You were talking about somebody, something horrendously inappropriate, but I don't remember what it was.
And then I said,
like, when are we not? You know,
right, yeah. And then I was like, record.
Let's do
it's
this.
Like, now you have to completely forget about this thing we've been talking about that we shouldn't be saying. I am your host, Chris. As always, joined by my co-host, Shaun.
Yeah.
And John.
I got that. You completely silenced me.
Yeah, it's all good. Right?
Rumor is, you took a trip to Mecca this weekend.
I don't call it Mecca, Chris.
It will always be Mecca.
Not lame like you.
You don't even know where to get your hoodie.
You don't know.
You have to call me when I'm drunk.
No.
And then when I don't pick up, then you got to call another friend.
You're going to put a Richard down your throat right now and listen to me. They rebuilt they rebuilt a new store. And when I went with friends who had us in the Uber. I got turned around because I might have been drinking a little bit during that trip too.
Now, Mecca means...
He's referring to Tuscaloosa.
Brian Denny. But you can't go anymore.
Why?
Because you freaking almost killed Tua.
I didn't.
He had no problems all year. You go to one game.
See, that shows how much of a fan you're not. His knee's been bothering him.
Yeah, but you actually took him out.
He tweaked it or did something when he was celebrating everything.
No, it was he got hit. He got hit hard.
He got hit real hard.
I don't think it was a sack, but it was like one of those as soon as
That's
he let go.
so funny. It wasn't a sack, see, because sack.
It was like a throw and hit. Now, on the other hand, he also got hit earlier in the game.
By
where
a
he had
sack?
the fumble.
When he had
too,
the fumble.
yeah.
And if you watch that replay, his knee did look a little funky on that one. So, but everybody in the stadium saw that his slide, he was first down.
Yeah.
It was first down when he slid, and then it wasn't first down. But it was a good time. It was the first time I took my Tinley girl to a game. She was super excited.
She had fun?
She did. She was a champ.
She Bama like daddy?
She is Bama. She'd been a couple years ago. I went to a game or whatever, and she wanted to go. And I said, "Baby, you're just a little bit too young." I see little kids, and they got ear things in, and it's just it's a crazy thing.
How old is she now? She's like 7, right?
Yeah, she's 7, and it was perfect.
That's perfect age. Yeah.
Yeah, she loved it. Everybody, we were in line at a store. Getting some souvenirs, and the lady in front of us overheard me say something about it being first game or whatever. And then she turns around, she bought Tinley a pin.
Nice.
To like a little, and then the people that sat by us, like, they were real cool, high-fiving her, making her stuff, like, during the game.
Where were y'all sitting at? The ones I was in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
yeah,
seats.
Those are good seats. I like those seats.
I wonder if the same two people were there. You know how we're 5 and 6?
Mm-hmm.
So 7's an older guy that listens to the game the whole time.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Good guy.
And then 4 was another guy.
I think 4 for us was
not the guy.
No, because I think he was there with his wife, and they were having fun. They were nice people.
Yeah, there were 2 guys, and one of them probably was the same guy you would have seen. I just don't know which one, obviously, but they were cool. Everybody around us was cool.
I couldn't tell for certain, but Did the kids behave themselves during Dixieland Delight? No, they did go for the.
Well, they went as far as they could. The stadium did really good on.
I know they changed, like they put up signs or something so that, like, John, if you don't know, back in the day till they outlawed it, it's tradition at Brian Denny in the fourth quarter they played Dixieland Delight by Alabama. There's a call and response that goes on between the crowd and the actual lyrics, like you sing one line of the chorus, right? And then the students say something. Originally, it was
a lot of
it
stuff.
was beat Auburn is the line that they say in the middle of it. That first word might have changed to a different 4-letter word.
F-bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that is.
Yeah.
And then they added teams to it, and it was
Forg,
LSU 2 and all kind of stuff. Yeah. So it got pretty raunchy.
I'm fine with LSU. You can say LSU, FLSU.
It's cool. Tennessee and LSU too. So it was a couple of. It got pretty raunchy. They just added a lot of stuff, and then eventually the school was like, "We're not going to play it anymore." So we didn't know it, and I didn't realize they hadn't played it since 2015. Started the fourth quarter, TV timeout. That song comes on, place lights up.
Yep.
The regular people were just singing the song. The student section, that was the most alive they had been since kickoff. It was great. So they were very happy for that to come back.
It's like how do we keep these kids there for the whole entire Missouri homecoming game? I know. We'll bring back this tradition.
Here's the thing about homecoming, right? They're getting they're partying as you walk up to the game. There's the sorority and fraternity houses have they have live bands and musicians playing, right? Yeah. It's not just like some put together. They're like full out stages and concerts like on each little house as you walk. So they're probably kegging up all day, liquoring.
It was a 7:00 kickoff.
They were poised and ready to continue that party. Yeah. So, but it was fun, man. It was a great atmosphere. I haven't been in a few years because of DJing and everything.
It's just like going to Bryant-Denny. As much as I love it.
Are you saying Brian Dennehy or Brian Denny? And
Bryant
Denny. Bryant Denny.
Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Oh, Bear Bryant.
Yeah. And then Denny is Denny Hamlin? No.
Don't ever leave. Just go get in your car and crash into something.
Why did I think that's a race car driver, isn't it?
Brian Denny.
It's like a 30s coach, isn't it? I can't remember because it was original. It's like originally Denny.
Hey, let's do this.
Stadium, right?
You keep wanting to throw that he in there. You sound like you're saying Dennehy. Like
Denny,
actor
Denny.
Brian
There's
Dennehy.
also a Denny Chimes, but what we're going to do, and we have to do this.
Yeah,
let's just keep saying wrong stuff,
okay?
Because we have listeners who love that.
Did you know that AJ McCarron won a Heisman?
And did you know, John, that Cornelius Bennett? Do you know Cornelius Bennett?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I can't go with that reference then. I got nothing.
Shaun Alexander is named after Alexander Hamilton.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And
Fun
then
fact.
the play, Hamilton, was born due to the success of Shaun Alexander in the NFL for the Redskins.
Yes.
Because that's when he was the most dominant.
Penny barking in the room.
John's looking at us like, what are you talking about?
By the way,
this used to be a football podcast.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry about your dogs.
It was a weird weekend for the other SEC teams, right?
It was a weird.
That's what
weekend
I'm
for
hearing.
college
I'm
football.
hearing there were some surprises, but I guess Georgia's not as good as we thought, and LSU is a lot better than we thought.
I want to say in my pick'em, I called that upset.
I don't know if I did. I'm not doing good in my pick'em this year. If there's 30 people, John, I might be 27th, and I guess that's okay.
It just seemed like the right kind of.
Did it feel right?
Because it's at LSU. They're a way defensive, slow-based team. I was like, you know what? They're good not turning the ball over. They're going to be really conservative against a team like Georgia. If Georgia, and Fromm just hasn't looked that great this year. So I was like, if you're telling me this is probably his biggest road test of his time since going to Notre Dame last year, right? He almost lost that one. He ain't looked good this year. You ain't got no Chubb. You ain't got no Sonny Michel.
Chubb would not be, Richard talk, John.
Or in reference to Old Chubb made by Oxcaloosa. Where their name are? I don't know. Some brewery that's in Nashville.
It's probably fine. Hey, but John, at least Auburn
Just
lost too.
Yeah, they did.
Oh boy.
And Tennessee. But we can't be nice to Tennessee because it's hate week.
Yeah.
I hate them.
I don't.
They're garbage.
And you know that one, it's just.
But the other thing I did this weekend, and the funny thing, I didn't even watch Auburn, right? I walked out as like kickoff was happening because I was just presuming, well, this is going to be domination because Tennessee's just kind of sucked.
Because Tennessee's Tennessee.
And I went and watched.
But they've gotten better, Chris, for real.
I watched First Man, right? I get out, Jeff's like, hey, because there was an Oktoberfest celebration getting them.
You're in a picture on Instagram.
Yeah, I hop in my car. I drive down to CBC where it's going on. And I walk in. The first thing I look up at the bar, and it says 30 to whatever it was. It was like ridiculous score, right? And I was just like, whoa. Apparently the world changed while I was at the movies.
Yeah. Because if you would have seen just the opening kick by passing through, Auburn came out and they looked like they were going to do what Auburn does against teams when they're clicking, right, on that offensive side of the ball. And then it stopped. Yeah.
They suck.
Who are they playing?
Tennessee,
Yeah.
who hasn't won a SEC game in like
Since
2
2015.
years. Yeah.
That's a long time. That's a weird stat, and it's a long time. So I did not see
Good
any
for
movies.
you, Jeremy Pruitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed the soccer. They've got some international stuff going on that I don't really.
You watch any movies this weekend?
No, didn't watch any movies. Didn't watch any soccer. I went to a football game, which is weird.
Yeah, that's true. That takes your whole day. That's the other reason, like, when people are like, why don't you go to Brian Denny so much? I'm like, it's a 3-hour drive both ways. And especially in your case where it's like a 7:00 game. What time did you get there? Probably like 12 or 3?
About almost 3:30ish.
Yeah, so you're saying like that's your whole day there.
Yeah, you're
came
getting
back
ready.
at night, right?
Yeah, you're getting ready to go the whole day.
Yeah.
It's on your mind. Then you drive. I took a 7-year-old, so that means there's going to be more pit stops, more this, more that. But I anticipated it, and it was well worth it. I got some good pictures, some good times.
Like, for instance, if we were in the distance of Auburn, it would be different, right?
Oh yeah, we've got friends
45
who love
minutes.
Auburn, and no, not even.
Yeah, I mean, like, but even with
Stage left, even.
I'm saying, like, with traffic, it's worse.
Oh, yeah,
it's
I see
like
what you're
45 minutes from here.
But thank God we're not Auburn fans.
But yeah, I did see First Man.
How was it?
I enjoyed it a lot. And I was wondering about something, and then I saw Polygon actually wrote about it, the science behind the shot, and I have to say, okay, that makes sense now because it's got one of the best shots, like. And I was wondering, I'm like, is this just because it's on IMAX that's so good? I'm like, no. Like, he actually used really cool technique to make it work. Like, he shot the movie primarily in one way. So it's, like, very flat because it's up close. It's about the intensity. Like, it's very hard to discern when something is going wrong versus what is normal when you're on a rocket, right? Because there's just so much chaos consistently going on when you have that much fuel burning behind you, right? So it's a lot of close-ups and things like that until they finally get to the moon at the end. And
spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
Son of a...
when the LEM door opens and it pans out, it switches from that to the full perspective of IMAX. And the scope of that, the way it's shot, is meant to encompass a large amount of space. It's kind of like what they do with a lot of action movies. And that shot and just like the freaking
it makes you feel
silence
like
of space. You're just like, whoa! You just
that
delivers
cool.
the sensation of what space is like.
If what you described is actually what I'm picturing in my head,
yeah. If you could see it in IMAX and you're interested in that, it's a very interesting movie. Very.
How would you not be interested in it?
Yeah, it's very. There was a lot more grief in it than I thought there was going to be. Like I did not realize some of the stuff that went on in Neil's life. But great movie. I loved it. Yes, there's plenty of patriotism for those who overreact to things. So
we were first.
You will see plenty of American flags, I assure you.
Was it a Michael Bay movie?
They're on the moon. They're on the LEM. They're on the parades. They're everywhere. So
there's parades in the movie, John.
Yeah.
He's told us.
There's a scene where they're very upset that the communists are beating them. You know, there's plenty of reference to American exceptionalism in that movie.
America. Speaking of America.
Yeah.
Do we do this now, John?
Well, I was about to say, I mean, I'll tell you what the astronauts did not have on the moon.
I was talking about
What?
Oh, you were too.
I was too.
Cheese?
You were doing the thing.
I was doing the thing.
You did a...
Oh.
What didn't they have on the moon, John?
Well, they didn't have what they like to call today a big fat ooey gooey.
So
you're perched to gooey in your
What's the gooey in your ooey?
So prior to, this little beautiful podcast, we come together. There's a store right around the corner that John and I, and sometimes Chris, we stop by and pick up drinks to moisten our throat boxes so your ears hear this beautifulness. And Chris introduced me a while back and told me that, they're good. You should try it.
Well, because we lost our hardcore thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to the lemon cookies, but they apparently died and we'll never get them back.
So there's this thing called an ooey gooey. And I think, is this a local thing? Where does it come from, you think?
I think it's a St. Louis one.
I think they're made in St. Louis, and it's from Prairie City Bakery. Anyway, the original is the ooey gooey, and it just says butter cake. And it's kind of like a blondie.
Yeah. Or a butter cake.
Butter cake, blondie kind of thing. John's never had one. So today, John said, you know what? Let's bring this to the show.
The smells are doing well.
Well, here's the deal, John. And I told
think
John.
that's the best one. The butter cake one's the best.
Chocolate chip's legit, too.
Yeah.
So I tell John, I say, well, look, how about you get the chocolate chip and I'll buy the butter because I know it's good and you can try both that way on your opening day of ooey gooiness.
Opening day? What is this, baseball?
You get to try both. So, John, we got to take pictures for the, for the show and stuff.
While you're doing that, while I was at Oktoberfest, there's this guy, Paul, and he's kind of like Shaun. He's a level 7 susceptible. And there was a German marketer there, they were selling German food, but they also had like German goods, like, the hats and the mugs and all that. He goes out and he shows up and he's not really wearing anything except like usual t-shirt and shorts. It's Paul, right? Like, he goes out to there one time. He comes back, and all of a sudden, he's got a boot. He goes out again, and all of a sudden, he comes back with the pink fez because I think he likes to show a lot of support for Breast Awareness Month and all that kind of stuff. And then 20 minutes later, he goes out again and comes back, and now he's got a shirt on that's got like the design of the Lederhosen, the.
So he's going full out German.
It's like in the course of like maybe an hour, he spent probably like $100 on this German goods. And that's awesome. He's like
that boot.
Hey, what's a boot?
It was a glass boot cup that you drink beer out of.
You never seen the boot? Have you never watched Beer Fest? Oh man, gotta be careful when the bubble comes, otherwise you'll get hit. It's like it's a German thing that instead of like pints, you have like pint glasses that are shaped like big boots, and you drink out of the boot.
What's that about?
I don't know where the tradition comes from and all that. It's usually associated with Oktoberfest. The guy who runs CBC had the biggest boot I've ever seen. Like that thing. I was like, how much beer is that holding right now? He said, about 2 liters. I was like, so that's a day right there. That's you chug that thing, bye. Yeah. But anyways, I think we're ready.
Yeah. So John, which one are you going to try first?
Well, shoot.
Gotta go be ready.
You want to go OG first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'll do is I'll grab, and then you. Well, here's.
Oh, sorry, breaking apart.
Don't matter. You just grab a half of it, or what?
There you go. Grab that.
Okay.
There it is.
There it is.
So I'm going to put this in my mouth hole.
Yeah, I'm going to eat some with you. John doesn't like it. Watch. But wait. He's thrown off by the crunchy top.
No. I can see it. He's like, yeah, Daddy's home. That's what that face is. I know that face.
It's sweeter than you think.
It's the face he made that one time when I had peanut butter wait, what? And penny.
I don't know what you thought ooey gooey was going to be, John. John's not speaking.
John's good.
Now we need to try the chocolate chip.
So we're ready to go to the topic. Because John's going to check.
That's good stuff, John. Now, before you speak a word, clean that palate. He's cleaning the palate. And we're going to go in on the chocolate chip that you purchased. Same. Whoa. Same deal? I'll grab just there and you grab the rest because this is mainly yours. Yeah, that works. Totally different experience.
I want to thank you, Tony, so much for that one. Look at that, Sean.
What you think, John? Ooey gooey time on the show. Look at John, Chris.
John loves food. Fat bastard.
I don't think he knew. We tried to tell him. You tried to tell me about the ooey gooey.
Look, John is, if you don't show him the way, John's not going to get out of his element, right? Like he's fine with doing. He's like, hey, I know this thing, and I'm doing it. But the moment you show him something, he's open to it, to trying. And the moment he does try, he's ready to go.
There's this.
We took you to Indian, and you were the same way.
There's this amalgamation of a crumbly crust.
Yeah, I can see it right there on my table.
And a soft,
gooiness,
delicate
gooiness.
It's crazy.
Have you guys never had like butter cake before?
You guys go ahead.
If I have, I don't know. I just know that ooey gooey.
What you do is you melt some butter.
I think my life
You
has
get some more
changed. I see things differently now.
So with that
topic,
no, I want to know if you guys know what ooey gooeys are, huh?
Yeah, let us know. Write it in.
John, how many Richards do you give an ooey gooey?
All of it?
All of it. The whole
Jeez.
Richard.
It's all in there.
That's good. I think you're right, though. The original is top notch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
the chocolate chip is really great, but the original is just. I want to try them all.
The only one,
The key lime pie.
the only
I
one
want that
I've
inside
had,
me as well.
I haven't had the key lime. The caramel's good. The sea salt's good. The only one I didn't enjoy was the lemon one, surprisingly, because it doesn't have the gooiness. It's more like a shortbread. Or I don't know if it was just like an older one I got. That was my instance.
You got you a stale
Yeah.
ooey gooey.
These, believe it or not, John,
This is
these
neither
aren't the
ooey nor
freshest I've
gooey.
had.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Jeez.
It's good stuff, though, huh?
Well,
and to think you sat in that store and you said, I don't know if I really want that.
Yeah, but that's on that aisle, right? Like where you're just
It's on the suspect aisle.
yeah, it's like, look, there could be wonders and a diamond in the rough, as the line would say. But then there could also be,
Ooh, why did I get that one?
yeah. So you're in this one gas station. I see that you're the one person you convinced to pick up on this line of terribleness. Huh?
But the reason you know these are good, man, because they're restocking.
Yeah.
Man, good stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
that was sexy. Some would say our topic this week is sexy. I don't know if it is, but
I got you.
yeah.
I think it's sexy.
Okay. We can go to war.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Oh yeah.
Blackout.
All right. Let's
Are you just going to leave that?
What, Blackout?
yeah.
Blackout's the name of the...
Yeah, the mode.
Oh, you can have it.
You sure?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is new for
okay,
me.
fine,
No.
cool.
This is because you took the icing off my cake.
Yeah, this is payback.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You told me to.
I did not.
No, not the way you did it.
Yeah. I did. All right. Let's go to topic.
Right?
Topic time.
The topic is Call of Duty. Black Ops
4.
Blops 4.
Blops.
Blops.
Blips.
We're lazy Americans. We use acronyms for
Blops.
everything. Blops. You got today's blops. I want to go play zombies.
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't either. He just went
Quick,
there with...
just recover with Gandalf.
No.
Just recover with Gandalf.
Not.
I had a Gandalf thing I said that, or I called John on earlier this week.
Yes.
Yeah. I said,
What?
John, do you know what I do when I go to the top of the mountain and there's a guy at the ledge and I'm about to Spartan kick him off? He said, no, what? And I said, I go, fly, you fools.
He did.
Get going.
Fly, you fools. He did tell me that last week he simultaneously kicked 4 people off a cliff.
I did.
That's impossible.
That sounds amazing.
You know what he should have done? So I would believe it, at least, is you can hit record that whatever just happened, and we could watch it.
I don't ever think to.
How can you record something that's already been...
It's constantly recording for
Yeah,
you.
it will automatically on your Xbox if you tell it. You can tell it to like record the last 2 minutes. I think.
I'm dumb.
Yeah.
Well, he just said the same thing I did, but
I just never think.
a little bit more wordy.
Well, the
'Cause I
funny
had
thing, I know we're talking about Black Ops, but the funny thing about Assassin's Creed that I've really enjoyed is they
Follow up.
They put photos. Users and players put photos interspersed throughout the world, and
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's a Richard pic
It is.
of a statue, of a Greek statue.
I think
It's
I
just
sent a picture to Jeff last week. I was like, "Hey, look what I'm doing! Climbing straight up by Richard." And he was like, "Can you hop on it?" I was like, "No, won't let you hang from it."
It's such disappointment.
We're children.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you totally are.
We are children.
The other thing I did this week, I told him I had there are these like ancient like super beasts you can fight. Like there's a wolf, there's a bear. So I'm fighting the wolf, right? So he's a really big freaking wolf, but at the same time, periodically he'll summon like 3 regular wolves that you have to deal with, right?
Yeah.
So that by itself isn't a bad thing. Well, I'm fighting him, and I get him up towards the side of the mountain, and he goes to do that animation. He kind of glitches into the wall while he does it. So he summons it. He does it like 5 times consecutively, very shortly. And all of a sudden, I look back, and there's 20 wolves like running at me.
Oh my god!
I don't know how. Somehow, I
Well,
luckily
the
I had the
computer
wolf.
understands the triggering or whatever.
Yeah, it did what it was supposed to, but
Tech talk.
somehow I don't know how, but
Hold up,
the
Chris.
wolf was already pretty close to defeat, so I took care of him first,
Yeah.
and then proceeded for about 5 minutes to run around the
wolves.
circles as I tried to defeat these wolves.
I think we need to implement tech talk with John.
What did I say?
I think it needs to be a thing.
It triggers
The computer knows,
the computer
so it triggers the thing.
triggers the thing.
The triggers. Hey, you know what's got triggers? Call of Duty's got
It
triggers.
does.
Hey, look at that.
Call of Duty. This I'm excited to hear about because we all know that this is going to be the best-selling game of 2018.
It could be. It's definitely in the. I mean, it's always in the running. If not always the perennial favorite.
Anybody who's looking at our podcast this week and sees the title, they know what Call of Duty is. They just want to know, is it at least up to par for what you expect when you play a Call of Duty game?
Yeah, I think that's like the weird part for me is that I definitely feel like I'm falling out of like caring about that series, and it's nothing that it's bad or anything like that, right?
It's just
that,
change, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it comes out every year. It's nowhere near as evolutionary as it was, like, say, back when Infinite War came out. Like, that really felt like, whoa, never played anything like that, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like, no. Now it's about, they know they have this really devout following every year.
What kind of following?
Devote. It's when you vote, but you
Bell
see-
Biv Devote.
Yeah, Bell Biv. That is going to be a campaign slogan of mine one day. But it's like, obviously, it's giving, it's kind of like Madden, right? It's about appeasing a base that you know is there. It's like, screw the guy who's, when you're number one, it's like, screw the guy who wants something different out there. If everyone else who buys this every year is happy and keeps giving us money, why should you? Hey, I remember my first time standing up. But yeah, it's I say this with a little bit of hesitation to say, like, is this for me? But may it be for someone else. I don't think it's for me. I don't think it did anything.
Why'd you buy it?
For the show?
No, I'm kidding.
Plus, I was interested to see the Black Ops. I mean, and I do like zombies. Zombies is like the funnest thing to me that they've ever done in that series. I should play it more.
For those of you who aren't in the know, this is a Call of Duty that does not have the classic single player campaign that
The big change.
a lot of people maybe like to at least have included, right? It's a big deal.
It's weird too when you think about it too, because of course, Infinity War, the original team was forced out by Activision, and they went on to become Respawn. And one of their thinkings when they made the first Titanfall game was not to do a single player campaign because they kind of had looked at the data, right? They understood that the majority of people who play that game overwhelmingly are playing the online, and that's like something like 40 or 50%. I think they said, like, don't even touch the single player campaign once, right?
How do they know that though? What if you play offline? Huh? What
I
if,
don't know.
John?
Sean,
I
look
mean,
at me.
The
Look at me.
question,
What happened?
They know.
the question is, how willing are you to give up? Is that income that you would get with a single player campaign
Right.
worth keeping, or you don't care about it?
Right.
I mean, I know plenty of people who buy the Call of Duty game just for the single player campaign.
Well, early on in the Call of Duties, I would play that single player campaign, but it wasn't exclusive to I have to play this first before I play multiplayer. A lot of times what happened is you turn the game on, I'm hopping straight into multiplayer, and then as I feel like it, I'm playing the story, which early on the campaigns were really good.
Yeah.
There's some very memorable moments from
Particularly in Black Ops.
and everything you would do. But then the more Call of Duties came out, right, you find yourself, okay, it's there, and if I want to play the story, cool, but it is, it's not the highlight of why I bought a Call of Duty.
How many different ways can you tell a story
7.
a story where, the goal has to be for these things to give you instances of war that you don't normally see, right? Or that the average person wouldn't be able to
You got to
conceive
save the
on.
world.
Yeah, right? So it's like, how many different times can you really do that and get away with shocking things? And especially when you're doing it every single year, right? They went to different generations. They went to the future. They went back to World War II. I don't know where else you're going. What, you can go do the Civil War?
I will
That'll
say
be
that
No
real
one's
exciting.
ever touched Korea.
That is true.
I will say
Well-
that going back to World War was
Battlefield.
still awesome. They did great at it.
They didn't do a campaign, but they've had, like, I want to say there's a Korean War type map thing for one of their years.
Oh, that's good of
And
them.
I don't think they'll ever touch the Civil War. That would not be.
Yeah, I don't
I
think it
think
would
that
be
was off the table.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be really weird.
I thought they would never go near the World War I, but they did.
Yeah.
Hey, tanks.
I mean, they had in the Civil War they had puckle guns. I mean, automatic weapons were not
Can
something.
I get a quick patch update?
There was no.
What's a puckle gun? I need my database updated.
It's almost like it's almost similar to the concept of one of those crank guns, which I'm not calling it
Gatling?
correctly. Gatling guns, where you turn this thing.
Almost
and
like I got you.
yeah, that's kind of what that is.
But it was a puckle.
Yeah, those things were around during the Revolutionary War.
Let's put it this way. I think those games, like the Civil War, is better suited for a strategy type game, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where it does
Stealth
its
play,
best.
scouts, play as a scout. you
Yeah.
know.
Or
Something
just
like
like, okay, I'm going to move this battalion here. I'm going to use my artillery here, and I've got to take this base, right?
Yeah.
So that seems the best fit for something like
Plus,
Total War, that game.
Yeah, I can't
series.
imagine there ever being anytime soon a good idea to release a Civil War game
Nah.
in a Call of Duty experience.
Nah.
I pretty much agree with you.
A little hot right now.
It's just a little hot button. I wanted to ask you, Chris.
HBO and Amazon are like, oh, really?
Oh yeah, well,
Challenge
speaking
accepted.
I don't know how your I don't know how your experience was, but so did you buy a physical or digital?
Physical. It's right there.
Oh, it is literally right there. So I with the aforementioned weekend extravaganza I had, I didn't pick up the game till Sunday. I mean, we knew about it. I think we covered it on this podcast that it has a day one 50-something gig
Yes.
update, right?
They changed that, though, I think.
So at first, you put the game in, and it only has like a 1 or 2 gig update.
I think
And what
it
that
was-
is it makes you immediately available to play Blackout,
Yeah.
which is crazy because I thought the 50 gig was for Blackout.
Yeah, that throws me off.
So
I almost wonder if it was zombies.
I don't know what it was because I put it in, the game says ready to play. When I go play and you come up to the screen, you're able to play either classic multiplayer, Blackout's right in the middle,
Yeah, it is.
or on the right side is zombies. Mm-hmm. The only thing available was Blackout, and zombies and multiplayer had like maybe 10% downloaded.
Wow.
So they had to go
Okay.
or whatever. So my first experience jumping in unintentionally was to go right into the Blackout, which Chris kind of before the show and even maybe has hinted now that you like that mode, right?
I enjoyed it, yeah. It's interesting because
Interessante.
it's very much, as soon as I started playing it, the first thing I noticed, I was like, well, you could tell they started making this with the idea of like, we got to beat PUBG. Like, it does not feel like, for anyone who's thinking like, is this a a challenger to Fortnite? And I'd be like, no, because it's not trying
There's
to be
no way.
Fortnite.
Well, there's no realistic way for Call of Duty to compete with Fortnite,
but it's
with its realistic palette.
Yeah, it
at
its
its
core.
Palette. That's the wrong.
It works.
I'm just pulling words out
But
of my butt.
I felt it. It worked.
Canvas is what I meant.
But it's like they weren't.
Even better.
It's not like they're trying to find a way to do it, right? It's like not like they're like, okay, well, you're going to be able to build forts around here based on military, gear and all that. And like, no. They're doing PUBG. That's what it is.
And let's be honest, Fortnite's for chumps.
So John challenges the world.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Ninja's coming for you. It feels like someone took PUBG and put it into the Call of Duty engine is probably the best way I could say, and made one or two little tweaks, mainly the zombies and the one part, and the fact that there are helicopters in there.
Yeah.
But that's it. I mean, it runs very well. It's fun, and it definitely reminded me why I love PUBG and those kinds of things.
Well, tell me this. What if some people that you might not respect their opinions or not, so I won't give you them. What if some people in the media are calling it the best battle royale mode on the market today? What would you say to that?
Maybe I would say...
What would you say to that, Shaun?
Yeah, I'll let Chris answer first. I got an answer.
I would say maybe it's the first time I could say that a AAA company has put one out to that level, like where, they spent a good year and a half probably making this mode for them. And it's not being released as some sort of beta, right? It's like, here's the finished product.
Can I say something? I asked you if it was the best, and you said, well, they put one out.
I would say, to me...
That was funny.
In the end, right now, I would say no. It could be.
Well,
it definitely has the tools, but there's certain little things that their competitors have done that they've learned and tweaked and had the time to adjust, where I'm like, at this point, they're probably better experiences. That would be my personal take on it. What about you, Shaun?
That and Fortnite, first of all, are apples and oranges.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Like you mentioned. But it does seem like Chris said, they took the time to let it really marinate, and they knew what they wanted. They kind of picked the best aspects of all the things out there and tried to make them their own. To me, it definitely, if I'm thinking of PUBG on the Xbox versus Blackout I'm playing it on PS4 Pro, way better game.
Which one?
The Blackout is a way better experience, and I don't know why.
Well, have you played PUBG recently on Xbox?
I was going to say that it's been a while.
What if what you're experiencing is the solid expertise of a developer who knows how to make those shooter mechanics work?
That could be it.
I mean how tight they are compared to a PUBG.
Yeah, that's the thing they will always have on everyone, is that no matter what, they've already built these beautiful mechanics as far as how gunplay feels on there, and they're not going. And to be fair, they don't do anything here that would mess that up, right?
And that's
Everything
what somebody said. Yeah. They said take a battle royale mode that is absolutely on par with everything out there,
sure,
and then add Treyarch's shooter mechanics to it.
Well, not even that,
and you've got the best experience.
The best part of it is it's that battle royale. Yeah. With a sprinkle of the Call of Duty-ness of what they do, the zombies, and the gunplay and the characters, and it that makes it just a really good experience. It's solid. The vehicles are fun to drive, very user friendly to even fly the helicopters.
Yeah,
which
helicopters, huh? Does PUBG do that?
No,
wow. No. That would make that game way too chaotic, I think, because it's such a big map. Like, it's way... That's the thing. PUBG's core map is still, I believe, the biggest one out there because it was built for PC. Yeah.
Well, I can shut up at any time.
No, this is good. We like this.
What's the functionality of the Battle Royale? Is it a shrinking map like any other
It's the same.
method?
Like I said, as soon as
and I know it's not 100 people. It's close to it. It's close to it.
It's 100.
Is it 100?
Yeah, it's 100.
You
I
can
heard it was like 88 people.
You can run quads or duos.
Or solo.
And I think their take on like the storm that shrinks is almost like an EMP, isn't it? Like a blackout.
Yeah.
Blackout,
which fits the Call of Duty universe. It'd be stupid for them to have like a storm of like thunder and lightning and stuff. So
very, very frightening.
That works.
Sorry.
So when you've played the other battle royales, you can kind of pick up and go. And if you happen to have played Call of Duties, you have this blend of knowledge and experience that kind of just fits together, like Tetris pieces, right? It just fits, and you clear that line. It's going to be great. I can't wait for Tetris Effect. It's going to be amazing.
How's it look?
It looks
I mean,
really. It looks
Call
good.
of Duty.
It looks Call of Duty. It looks to me a little bit more crisp than the PUBG port to like Xbox looked.
Sure.
Yeah, I would say there are, from a technical standpoint, there are definitely some limitations, like where you can see the draw distance isn't nearly as long as PUBG on PC.
Yeah,
and it's
not even
you'll see some texture pop in from time to time, but as far as like when you're actually in the part of combat in that game and where it is, it's perfectly fine.
Like in Fortnite, you come in on a party bus and you jump off with little gliders and umbrellas. It's fun and friendly. On PUBG, you just jump out with a parachute from a big plane. Call of Duty, you come in on, there's like several helicopters flying. Like a war almost, right? And when you jump out, you have one of those suits to where when you open your arms up.
The wingsuit.
The wingsuit and the legs. So that's
cool.
That is cool. And it makes gliding down, if you get it right, you can hit like maybe 60 or 70 miles an hour. You got a little thing that shows you, and then kind of straighten it out, and you can go flying across a map to somewhere you want to go.
You can get just about anywhere from. It seems like it always comes in around the same angle. I've noticed it goes from east to west.
Oh, what?
Like it doesn't. It's not like how PUBG or Fortnite are, where, or at least I haven't noticed this yet. Maybe I'm wrong. Like it doesn't seem like there's a big disparity of like the angle of where it's coming in. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
I don't know. I don't have a. I see what you're saying. And I don't know. I don't know, Chris.
I just don't know. But yeah, I think it's really well done. It's fun. My question would be, if you're someone who's been playing PUBG on PC or Xbox, are you inclined to leave at this point to go to it? That's a harder question to answer unless you're like you've been a hardcore Call of Duty guy.
So
then
like
maybe.
there's almost not even room for 3.
No, I think, like Chris said, I think if you happen to like Call of Duty, and you were playing PUBG because Call of Duty didn't have this option for you,
This is for you.
dude. This is so far up your alley that you're gonna fall in love with it, because now you have literally everything you've ever wanted.
Yeah. But if you've invested like
Right.
starting, either for now almost a year on Xbox or longer than that for PC,
It's gonna be like,
yeah, you're kind of like, should I go to this? I don't know, especially because, and most people have noted this now, progression in the blackout mode for
It's
Call
tough.
of Duty is very tight. That's probably the biggest thing that I noticed. I'm like, they need to adjust this.
and when he says progression, is as far as ranking up and unlocking things.
You can, like, an average match can go 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And you only get XP if you finish in the top 15 or if you get kills, right? And
Or possible cleanups.
I guess, yeah. But
And
like,
I don't even think it's top 15, Chris. I think it's top 5.
and even then it's like
No.
very,
Really?
nah, I was reading somewhere.
Is it solo top 15 and maybe groups top 5?
Maybe.
Because that's what we kept shooting for as
That
as
does
quads.
seem that does seem punishing.
Yeah, compared to, like, say, sure, for instance, like Fortnite, you're always getting XP, but even PUBG, if I place in the top 50, I might not get a ton of XP, but I'll get like 200 XP out of it. So it's like, and because of the fact the way PUBG's progression, unless it's changed recently, I haven't been on in a while, right? It resets every single week. So you always feel like you're guaranteed to get at least 1 to 2 packs just by generally playing throughout the whole week. And if you actually do get a chicken dinner or a top 5 finish or have a match where you get 3 or 4 kills, it's a lot of experience for you. Like we had one where Slade and I, of all people, Jeff died about 10 left.
Yeah, he's terrible.
It was down to me and Slade, another guy. I had, I think, 4 kills that match, and we finished second. And I think I got, 30 for finishing second, and then like 40 points for my kills, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you go, I just went through 25 to 30 minutes of this, just trying to survive and actually getting lucky enough to have a good setup where I could win all of my battles, and that's what I got for it. That's doesn't feel very for Call of Duty, because everyone who knows this, like regular Call of Duty, you are consistently leveling. You're consistently going up and getting new things.
Just doing stuff. Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're going to tweak that.
So what does the leveling accomplish other than bragging rights? Just cosmetic stuff?
Skins, and I think
no
you can,
competitive edge?
I think you might.
Like that.
I think it might allow you to set certain kill streak perks.
You got to get to certain levels so you can so you can create classes and things that you do in Call of Duty. You just got to progress up and Blackout to do it.
I mean, they are useful. Like, that's one of the things of PUBG. Like, getting certain cosmetic outfits on certain maps, they extremely help you because it makes you harder to see.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you see a lot of people running around naked, and it's because the clothes they have just aren't that good.
Barefooted used to be more quiet.
You can run around naked in PUBG?
You have
underwear
on, but just bare skin, just running.
Just you and your Richard and your undies.
With a helmet on
and
a gun.
Have you gotten level 3 armor yet?
Yes.
Yeah. I had that in a 4x zoom scope. And
You're
some little dude decided he was going to run up to my house, and I was like, you just made a bad choice in life.
Yeah. They took a lot of like what Chris just said. So like you can pick up some armor, which you want, right? And then they'll have level 1, 2, or 3. That's a lot. That's something you get from like a PUBG game.
Yeah.
In Fortnite, you don't get armor per se. You get potions that you drink. A little different. But yeah, I enjoyed Blackout. It was my first take on the new Call of Duty. It felt different, but it still felt good as far as the way your guy runs and moves and all that stuff, but it still had the shooting mechanic that you want from a Call of Duty. And then it got late, so I said, all right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. And then my second run-in was something you had already done, which was the multiplayer.
Ugh. I'm done with Call of Duty multiplayer.
So Call of Duty multiplayer is a thing where you have to be on it.
Yeah.
All the time, because the people that play the multiplayer, they're drinking Red Bulls, Mountain Dews, hitting lines of cocaine.
I'm just drinking PBRs.
On it.
So it's just a punishing world to be in.
Yes. If you come
spawn dead, spawn dead.
Well, yeah. Starting out, the kind of game modes that the crew we run with, there's been noted issues on the multiplayer on certain game modes, right? Like domination, control, team deathmatch. These are all game modes. Everybody knows them that plays Call of Duty. And one of the ones they wanted to play was hardcore domination. And that was so easy for you to get spawn camp, as they call it. Like you say, you literally,
which is just the most irritating world.
Because you can literally set your controller down, and every time as soon as your guy comes on the screen, he's dead.
Yeah, it's really weird. These maps, as opposed to the last couple, I don't know if it was just the ones we got, but they all felt extremely tight, whether it was old ones or new ones. And as such, like once they had taken over 2 points on the map, they were set in a way where, it didn't even matter if I spawned like here on the right side one time and then the left side. They had it so well covered that
you're done.
Yeah, you're done. It didn't matter if it changed just a little bit.
Even as early or as recent, not as early, but as recent as last night, we know that the Call of Duty folks, they're working on the respawn issue to avoid the spawn camping. They know that's a killer for the online, gameplay, people.
It's just not fun.
It's not fun,
no,
right?
It's not. It's irritating.
So they're working on it. And in the previous Call of Duty games, they used to, if you can imagine like a line, like a virtual line that if one team crossed, it would generate the other team to spawn in different locations to avoid the spawn camp. It was smart. It worked, and if they've ever had problems with it, they found a way to tweak it. So I've got faith that they'll tweak it now. But even as recent as yesterday,
but why not do it? It's like, learn from your experience and don't repeat the mistake.
Part of me thinks that this game released in October. It normally releases in November.
It was running from something.
Chris will say it's running from Red Dead, and I can kind of makes sense. They want to get their people out there and get sales and all that.
Yeah, they remember what happened with GTA, and they know that it would be much better in their prerogative to be the team that's out first.
Possibly. I don't think this game was all the way like stressed, maybe properly done. I don't know. I know that this kind of thing should have been caught before an official release.
Yeah.
But we switched game modes out a little bit, and certain things got better. And we noticed that getting out of the hardcore and just going to core.
See, we did that too.
But they were saying even as of yesterday,
yeah,
it had gotten better since when y'all played. So,
yeah, well, that's good.
And we also put it on a shuffle, so all the different game modes were going on. So that made it fun too. So that was cool. But if you played a multiplayer in Call of Duty, this one's good.
Yeah, it feels like Call of Duty. That's why I'm saying, like, I might not be the guy who's attuned for this because, like I said, that mode, it just doesn't interest me. Mm-hmm. But I think of, like, our friends like Tate and
dude, I loved
all
it.
that.
Yeah.
Who really, for the longest time, that's all they played was this. I could definitely see how it's built for people like them or Mikey's son, Josh. Like I know he's a big Call of Duty guy. Like if you're in that core loop, I don't see there's anything here that would make you say, oh, this isn't worth it now. The big question will be for them, especially with like Blackout and all that, is what are they doing going forward if this is an annual franchise still, right? Because now you're going to have all these people, unlike PUBG and Fortnite, who have put a year of progression into Blackout, right? Actually doing the things. Are they going to lose all that? Do they have to start again every year? Is it just going to be, hey, you get one new map every year and that's it? Or are they going to build this out?
That puts Call of Duty and possibly Battlefield up against the wall. It's like,
yeah,
Fortnite is a free service-ish. You know what I mean. PUBG is that one-time fee of what, $29.99, $30. Mm-hmm. But Call of Duty has the release every year. And do you hide a battle royale game behind a paywall by purchasing a game every year?
Exactly.
It's like going forward, it's almost like Activision has put themselves in a box saying that they now have to choose between annual franchises and the revenue that brings or a subscription-based service going forward where, I don't know, the battle royale is something you pay upfront for and you get updates for the rest of your life.
They're going to have to probably think of a model that way. I don't think they don't look at it as going up against the wall because they're like, no, the Call of Duty experience is the multiplayer experience and the zombies and yada, yada, yada. The Blackout thing is a new thing. Now, if it turns out to where they can rival, what PUBG and Fortnite are doing, then yeah, you got to figure out a way to go, okay, a one-time whatever, and you have Call of Duty Blackout, so to speak.
Yeah.
And now here's this thing.
Is there room for both of
right?
Because they would have to turn it into two franchises. One that's just the service that's on all the time, and then the one that they release every year. Then they'll have to start putting in a single-player campaign
or something. I mean, Fortnite technically is the battle royale and the save the world.
Yeah.
Obviously, the battle royale is a way more popular version of that game, but
yeah,
there's ways to do it, and I know they're anticipating getting these numbers and these results in to see which way they want to go. I love both modes that I've played. There was one more, the zombie mode, that I know he played last night. So I know that our friend of the show, Mike, Ryan Leaf, one of his favorite things about Call of Duty is the zombie mode.
Yes.
Several iterations ago, I zombied the crap out of zombies, right? I loved it. The last zombie mode I played was the one where they had, was it Jason or Michael Myers in it?
Jason, I think. Might have actually been both.
And I did not go pelvic deep in that one.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've gone very deep in there, but it's always fun to play with someone like Mike because Mike just goes on YouTube and looks up every little stupid thing, and it's so weird coming into that and not having the full experience of like knowing everything. And I go, he's just like casually running towards things and saying, okay, we got to do this, this, and this. I'm like, how do you know this? How do you figure that out? I'm just wanting to not die. But the thing is that I still would say, to me, the reason why they bring back zombies is that I honestly think it's been the thing that Treyarch just consistently has evolved, taken chances with, and made something that is distinct. Like, they weren't the first Horde mode out there, right? Gears of War and Halo both had that well before they did. But once they started doing it, they've done it. I mean, it's hard to argue that there's been a better reoccurring horde mode out there. Maybe Gears, but even then, I don't think.
Well, the thing is, there's not a Gears every year.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Gears is like every 3 years. So they could make. I think that you could. We're talking about like what's their future forward. I think you could take Zombies and Blackout and make it this thing where it's like, oh hey, your progression will always carry over. I got a new message from Xbox.
Quit talking about us. We know you're recording.
Stop it. Phil's not amused. Like, they could take both of those things and be like, oh, hey, by the way, we're just going to charge you $20 a year, $20 to the service. You get all the map packs, all of our expansions. We promise that we're going to give you these throughout the year, right? And let those both go off and they could be their own thing. And then maybe we see this return to form where when we're talking about actual Call of Duty, the multiplayer and stuff, maybe that then returns back with an actual solo campaign that's done annually by itself. And it's got its core set of teams that are doing this, while there are separate teams that all they do is Blackout and Zombies. Because the weird thing is, as Activision's getting to a place where they're so freaking dependent on, from core Activision. Take Blizzard out. Blizzard, that's its own side of the business. But as far as core Activision, they don't really have much else right out there for hardcore gaming right now than Call of Duty.
They got Destiny.
Yeah, so that's it. They got those two things.
Destiny's huge, man.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, I think they have to keep finding a way to say, well, how are we going to keep people coming back and doing and giving us more money, right? And how often do we ask for that money, and where are we giving them for that money, right?
In fact, this doesn't necessarily mean, this is slightly off topic, doesn't necessarily mean people come back, but somebody in the industry said...
Why won't you say the name? You're fearful.
I'm not. You'd be fine with this one.
We don't need to say that.
Everything you, not you
Smash
specifically...
Mouth once said that somebody told me that the world was going to... Oh, sorry.
Everything that people said from the outset they wanted from Destiny is now in Destiny. It's not. This is what everybody wanted from the get-go.
And you know what they're saying now?
Possibly too late. I get it, but
do you know what they're saying now? The people who play the Destiny, it's like, oh my god, we finally got everything. Now we're wondering, what are they going to do next? Now they're worried.
Give you more of it.
Well, now they're worried that this was the load, this was the payload, this is everything. Now what?
Oh, they've got plans up to 2020.
Well, they've always.
I think they're pretty much, without a doubt, coming out. If not next year, definitely the year after will be Destiny 3, because I think
they have a longer support timeline for this one than they did the first.
They have a contract with Activision, which I think said over the 10-year life cycle that they would at least deliver 3 games. So that's come out. So obviously that's its own thing. But anyway, Zombies, it's fun. It's just, even if I don't know what the heck is going on,
you're just
listening to the scripts and the zombies and the different things that show up, and the fact that there was this hellhound dog coming out of the wall last night, and you had to lure the zombies to it so it could feed the dog. He would bend down and pick up the zombie and start eating them. Or the fact that of course, regular Call of Duty, it's all more based on real weaponry, right? Trying to be somewhat in the realm of realism. Nah, Jeff goes up to this box and all of a sudden he's got this ray gun going on, this sciencey little tiny ray gun. And he's just one-shotting zombies like it's nothing. It's fun, it's chaotic, and it's great because just like any horde mode, it can fall apart in an instant. You're just, everything's going fine. You're like, all right, we've gotten this thing, and this one guy's heading to this thing while these other 2 people do this thing, and all of a sudden he goes, I'm down. And you realize he's on the other side of the map, and you don't even know how to get to him because you're not Mike or whoever has played this so much.
Is this one of those modes where it's just a matter of time you're going down?
Oh, yeah. It's
just how long you can manage to.
For the most part, I think you can beat it. Yeah, but
it's no joke.
Yeah, you kind of you really have to understand what you're doing.
In some of the zombie modes, John, we'd be in a room and we'd have everything boarded up like we're supposed to, and be rocking out. Zombies start coming through. You kill a couple of waves. You reboard up, and then at some point, like Chris says, somebody goes, they're through. Hey, I need help. Pick me up. I'm down. I'm dead.
Yeah.
And then it's over because then all of a sudden there's more zombies, one less dude, and it is what it is.
It's just, there's not, of course, a single player mode in this, but this feels like the closest that you get to a campaign or set of stories and campaigns because it's like a cooperative single player, right? You're not battling each other. You're all working towards a common goal, and that's always really fun. It's kind of like when you play Halo and you're doing the campaign co-op with 3 of your other friends, like you could do with Reach and Halo 3, or no, Halo 4.
So is it Ricardo time?
I was gonna point out too before we do that, there are some new characters. If you remember the ones from Black Ops 3, they're all here. But one of my favorite new characters, Chris, is Torque. He's the one that is kind of got the red beard and he's a little cross-eyed looking with the glasses on his head. He's awesome. And the in-game stuff. And they all do different things now. What's another new one? Crash is a new one. Ajax is a new one. And I believe
he's also in
that's it.
Assassin's Creed, honestly.
Yeah, and they do different things. Like each one of the people that you pick, they have an equipment thing they do. The recon guy has this dart that you can throw on the wall when it's charged up. It provides like a circle, and then you can see enemies coming in and out of that circle, so you kind of know where they're at. And then they all have an ability. The recon guy, for example, his ability would be he pulls out a mask, and now he can see everybody through walls, and you can call them out for your teammate, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are new additions. The customization part, as far as like your paint camos on your gun or the outfits you lock on your characters, the guys I play with already have like these neon type looking outfits on. Really cool. So yeah, I'm excited to get home and play it tonight. It's kind of rejuvenated my interest for Call of Duty. I haven't played since World War II, and everybody's like, well, that was technically the last one.
Yeah, that was last year.
But I played it for a long time, and then I kind of stopped. So we'll see how this goes. I'll give it an initial, Richard.
Okay.
If we're ready to do that.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I got no qualms with that. Hey, you make no ifs, ands, or buts. I'll give her Richard. What just happened?
You're enthusiastic, and Richard's everywhere.
We got to pause the recording because Sean's going to give me a Richard. Wait, what?
What? What happened? Is there anything else we're leaving out?
I think we're good.
Mike did mention he read somewhere, or maybe one of you can confirm this.
Mike can read?
Apparently.
I saw him today.
But they started making what was going to be their single-player campaign, right? So they had this, like, vault of stuff. And now that's going to be like the backstory-ish, very similar to like your Blizzard game does, like with the
Overwatch.
Yeah, with their backstories. I got a glimpse of one. It looked beautiful.
That'd be a cool idea.
But I kept hitting circles so I could get ready to go in multiplayer. I didn't want to see it. But yeah, okay. It is what it is. I'm excited, man, to see where this goes and how much. I don't know what else to say about it. If you like Call of Duty, buy it. It's for you, dude. It's everything Call of Duty plus a Blackout. If you're not turned on by Call of Duty, but you like the PUBGs and the Fortnites of the world, maybe the Blackout gets you into the world. I don't know. But I tell you what, you better bring it.
Yeah.
You better get good.
So what's your Richard?
I'm leading off. I'm Ricky Anderson, the Richards.
Yeah, you're Ricky this week.
Only because I haven't played the zombie mode, I'll give it an 8.75.
Oh.
Because it's a solid shooter. It's Call of Duty, and I like everything about it. It's got room to grow, or fade. So I'll start off and say just initial 8.75.
Okay.
Chris is like 5.5.
Nah. To me, it's good. And I'm not a Call of Duty guy. I think I've learned more and more. As I said, the core game just doesn't speak to me. I think zombies is easily the best part of it. And I really hope that my group of friends reaches out and says, like, hey, do you want to play zombies tonight? Because outside of next weekend, I probably would be down to really explore those.
Is it already time for that game?
Next week.
No, it's the 26th.
Yeah, a week from this Friday.
So next week. Technically.
Okay, yeah. Not this weekend. Next weekend.
Yeah.
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 You got it?
Yeah.
You good?
I think I got to play that game.
Yeah. But anyway,
I think I got to play that game.
Good to me, I've always said, is a 7.5. So that's what I'll give it. I think definitely if you're, like, as you said, if you're Tate, one of those guys, I definitely can understand where you're like, 9! And all those things. But for me, for $60 and all that right now, unless you love that multiplayer, I feel like I'm not going to touch that again. I have no desire to go back to that. I could definitely see myself playing some more Blackout. If like, cause to me, the one big thing it did while I was like, there's nothing here that's like highly original compared to PUBG that was like bursting at the seams for me. It still felt like PUBG and I missed that feeling. So, that like, that's the part I enjoyed from it. It's like, this is an easy way on console for me because I never bought PUBG on Xbox. It's like, here's an easy way to play that mode. So if people want to play that, I'm down to play that too. But, I think it's a fair score for someone who is, I will admit, not right now the most biggest champion in the world of Call of Duty. I don't have a problem saying that. So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
Hey, John, we just talked about Call of Duty on our show.
Ooh. Where was I?
You're right here. You had an ooey gooey earlier. You know that?
I did.
I want to ooey gooey this news. You want to ooey gooey the news?
Let's do it.
Hot off the press and straight to your ears. Weekly Games Chat presents the news.
News!
What were you choking on?
I was drinking Dasani.
You know what's great about this now every week? I don't have to
do anything?
Yeah.
Can you make it bigger?
What are you sure?
Can you make it bigger?
Here we go.
Topic of the...
Who's going first between the two?
I think it's my week to go first, right?
Sure, if you like.
Remember, because we did the thing where 1 week was you and then 1 week was me.
That's cool, man.
Cool, man.
Let's get this started.
Let's get it started. PSN name changes. The ask has been 10 years in the making, but Sony has officially announced that they will soon be testing the PSN, that's PlayStation Network, online ID change beta that will allow for this change. It will initially be part of the PlayStation Preview program and, quote, will become available to select users that have pre-registered as testers for previous PS4 system software betas, end quote. Users will be able to change their online ID. Shut your face. They'll be able to change their online ID as many times as needed. The first change will be free, and then each additional charge will cost $9.99 or $4. Don't be sorry. Don't ever be sorry for saying 9.
Okay.
Or $4.99 for PlayStation Plus members. That's me, and it should be you too if you're listening.
Yeah, if you play online games.
Yeah, it's like a no-brainer, guys. The important note is this, quote, not all games and applications for PS4, PS3, and PS Vita systems are guaranteed to support the online ID change. And users may occasionally encounter issues or errors in certain games.
I think they've said that might mean people are worried trophies.
I told you last week this is a PlayStation 3 issue.
Yeah.
It's the architecture of the PlayStation 3 that they can't get around. They just can't.
How? They made the architecture.
All you gotta do is a left outer join. That was sequel talk. Sorry.
What is that? Sequel or
SQL?
SQL.
Yeah. Anyways. I would, that's cool. I'm glad they're finally doing this though. Personally, I don't see myself changing my name just because that's like my classic name. So.
Yeah, I was an adult when the PlayStation 3 came out, so I didn't go juvenile. I didn't say Vag Violator 18.
Yeah? That's the one that just came to the dome, huh?
Well,
that sounds like something juvenile would say.
Colin and Greg used to have a segment for Shuhei Let Us Change Our Names, and somebody would write in a letter every week saying, this is my name.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
And one of them was I think it was Vag Violator 18. And it was awful. It's like, please let me. And after every letter,
I'm more so amazed that Sony was okay with the name.
Yeah, how did that get through?
Sometimes it just slips through the cracks,
Yeah,
literally.
Stop.
What happened?
But
Speaking of PlayStation 3s.
We got a new system coming out.
Yeah.
It's called the all-new PlayStation Brick. Over the weekend, players began to report that their PlayStation 4s were being rendered inoperable.
Ooh.
This was due to opening certain PSN messages. Sony has acknowledged the problem and is planning a system software update to fix it. Reports of the message exploit revealed an unsolicited message from a Rainbow Six Siege opponent that bricked the console, and bricked should be quote-unquote, because it wasn't necessarily a brick. The console, so let's back up. Opponent that bricked, yeah, Sean?
We got you.
Yeah.
Because I explained it. You didn't get it before.
Thanks for that.
The message
Totally
contains
cleared it
a
up.
box filled with a question mark set between the same Spanish word and emoji. A similar exploit was used to crash iPhone several years back.
I think I read this afternoon, it was after you sent the latest update of the news, that they think they've figured it out and got it patched out, so it shouldn't be affecting people. But still, God, could you imagine just like you get this message and you accidentally click on it, not even suspecting, you're like, huh, what is this? Or you're just doing it because you're like, let me open this up and leave this group before I get blown up by 50 messages from it, right? And then the next thing you know, your whole entire PlayStation is just crashing and files are being deleted.
I think I read before we came in here that the PlayStation Network currently experiencing issues, but I haven't read the whole thing. I'm wondering if it's kind of tied to this.
I've got some Call of Duty to play.
Yeah. Should have bought it on Xbox.
Boo.
Then you'd have the power of the 1XX 5 billion teraflops. It's going to go up with Red Dead.
Speaking of Microsoft, Microsoft acquisition rumors. Ooh. Nothing like a good rumor, huh? Microsoft is reportedly making moves to acquire Obsidian Entertainment. Fans will recognize Obsidian's most notable work as Pillars of Eternity, South Park, and what many fans feel is a superior title in the series, Fallout New Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Casey would definitely say that.
According to a rep from Microsoft, quote, "We do not comment on rumors or speculation."
That means it's true.
That has to mean it's true, right?
Yeah.
Deny. Oh, we signed it. This would be a great get if true, which would add to Microsoft's growing portfolio that includes Playground Games, Undead Labs, and Ninja Theory.
Not to mention the Coalition.
Yeah.
And of course, the folks who 343 Studios.
Yeah.
I think like the commenter from the report I saw basically said it's pretty much 90% done, and it's not like a speculation anymore of if, right?
But when?
Yeah. It's like, when are they going to announce it? Like, are they holding this till E3 next year? Are they just going to do a press release someday, right? Yeah, because we had heard a lot of rumors too about like Undead Labs and Ninja Theory. Those kind of talks had been rumbles prior to E3. And then finally, Phil comes out on stage and he's like, by the way, we got this studio. We got this studio. So you're wondering if that's what the play for this is. It's like, okay, here is the new Xbox coming in 2020. And to do it is Obsidian Games, makers of things like, as you said there, or one that we didn't have on there, Knights of the Old Republic 2 was them. That was them. So they have a great pedigree.
You know how Fallout's on there, right? I'm getting secretly excited for 76. I just needed to add that out there.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's growing on me.
It's growing. We could go play the beta.
Well, speaking of things that grow on humans, like mold, Chris will go missing.
Did he just call you mold?
No.
Ouch.
No.
You would never do that.
You'll understand.
Okay, let me get there.
Chris will go missing on October 26th.
That's accurate.
Can Chris go 60 hours without bathing or grooming of any sort, hence growing mold on his body?
Chris, this is when you say that?
Chris clarifies.
With beer, I can go 80!
Yes. Now that Red Dead Redemption 2's campaign has been revealed to be 60 hours long, we may find out.
Yeah.
That is due to scaling back, as it is also revealed that 5 hours of the game was cut due to a romantic storyline that didn't play out well, in addition to a, quote, mission on a train where you had to deal with bounty hunters, end quote. While motion capture is done for the single-player campaign, they have revealed that more is due for the online service. It is clear that we will be recording future podcasts while thousands of Christmas tree air fresheners hang from Chris's ceiling.
They're
Indeed.
already hanging.
At least something will get on these walls. And ceiling.
Ouch. I got a
That's
Van
60
Gogh.
You do got a
Now, that's 60 hours minimum.
Yeah, just going straight through.
I think like the story for GTA 5 was like 30 to 40 hours by itself, pretty much. Which is perfectly fine by me. Totally fine with that. That's a world I want to get lost in.
The more I see it, I want to be on a horse going through a snowy capped mountain.
Watching those balls shake.
I mean, not so much about that, but
just everything. It's just
Chris, Mr. Popular tonight.
no.
I've heard reports that they're looking at about a 75 on Metacritic.
Are they?
Oh.
Would you like to sort
John,
your sizes?
I can't see your face, John.
Sort your
Where'd
sizes.
you go?
I just said sort your sizes. That's great. Cite your sources.
Speaking of 60 hours, according to this was again about Red Dead. Lead writer Dan Houser of Rockstar said, "We were working 100-hour weeks several times in 2018 when speaking of crunching and pushing Red Dead 2 to meet the release date. Many online websites have called into question this comment and have sought further clarification from the developer. Rockstar has since clarified the, quote, 100-hour weeks comment, which has brought the issue of, quote, crunch culture front and center for debate. There seems to be some confusion arising.
This is all quote, by the way.
Yeah, this is all quote, by the way. Thanks, Chris, because it's in italics, and I should have said that.
Yes.
There seems to be some confusion arising from my interview with Harold Goldberg, not that Goldberg. The point I was trying to
not
make...
Bernie Goldberg.
Fear the spear.
Or Bill Goldberg. The point I was trying to make in the article was related to how the narrative and dialogue in the game was crafted, which was mostly what we talked about, not about the different processes of the wider team. After working on the game for 7 years, the senior writing team, which consists of 4 people, Mike Unsworth, Rupert Humphreys, Laszlo, and myself, had, as we always do, 3 weeks of intense work when we wrapped everything up. 3 weeks, not years. We have all worked together for at least 12 years now and feel we need this to get everything finished. After so many years of getting things organized and ready on this project, we needed this to check and finalize everything. More importantly, we obviously didn't expect anyone else to work this way. Across the whole company, we have some senior people who work very hard purely because they're passionate about a project or their particular work, and we believe that passion shows in games we release. But that additional effort is a choice, and we don't ask or expect anyone to work anything like this. Lots of other senior people work in an entirely different way and are just as productive. I'm not one of them. Because there was an exclamation point. I make myself giggle.
Oh, yeah, so I'm just not one.
I'm just not one of them.
Yeah.
No one, senior or junior, is ever forced to work hard. I believe we go to great lengths to run a business that cares about its people and to make the company a great place for them to work. Picture of John. Who's that? That's Dan Houser?
Yeah.
That's so that's a funny picture.
That was on the Red Dead Reddit today.
Yeah. It's a guy with a gun, obviously from Red Dead, and they got Dan Houser, and he's holding down an employee Rockstar who doesn't want to work 100 hours a week at gunpoint. It's just funny when you see that after what I just read. But yeah, it caused a bit of a storm. Did you hear about all this?
Yeah, I mean, look, just because they're Rockstar doesn't mean that they're above criticism. And when you hear something like that, yeah, it perks people up and goes, wait, is everyone on that? Is the reason they're making such great games is that they force people to work that much, right? You know, what are they going to get compensated for it? Those are big, serious questions. So I'm sure of this. If it is really bad there, it will come out and people will talk about it. So I'm kind of in the sit back and wait and see what, if anything does happen. But again, it's one of those things where if you're senior people, you kind of always got to be mindful of the things you say to the press.
Senior or junior people.
Because the moment, especially in today's day and age, the moment you say something, there's a whole plethora of people ready to rip it apart and break it down and make you question, well, what do you mean by that, right? So
2 things here, right? One, I have an addendum to make from my previous statement of no movies watched this weekend. What I'm going to say comes from what I saw this weekend. And this kind of story that comes out might start letting the water in that could eventually bust open the whole thing.
Yeah.
That made me remember that I watched Dunkirk and the scene where the boat is getting shot to quote unquote target practice and they have to hold the holes. Whew, that's a serious scene. So I watched Dunkirk this weekend, Chris.
Great movie.
John. It was all right.
Oh, Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Venom.
What? So yeah.
This is, to me, this is a representation of the media looking for that victim, just looking for the victim wherever you can find it from a very, I don't know, unharmful statement and just looking for the controversy where none might exist.
You didn't say that right.
Looking for the controversy where none might exist.
You didn't say it right.
I did say it. Let's play the tape.
No.
Can we focus on what I'm saying?
The word controversy, just fix it.
Yeah.
Controversy?
There you go.
Thank you.
Jeez.
So defensive.
So I've worked, I don't know if you guys have, maybe you haven't, maybe you have. I've worked jobs that have required 60 to 100 hours work a week.
Sure, same.
So if you are a developer and you love what you do, where does the choice stop and stop? Can't stop and begin. I mean, can we just assume that the people who work for Rockstar, who by the numbers make the best games in the world, yes, John said it, they work 100 hours a week. Does the CEO at a Fortune 200 company work 40 hours a week and go home? No.
But he gets compensated for being the CEO.
Yeah, but how did he get to that point? Did he get to that point by making 40 hours a week?
No,
I doubt it.
Probably rose up.
I bet he put in the extra time it takes.
Yeah.
Neil Bortz, you might remember him. He's a retired radio host. He
Yeah.
used to say all the time, anybody who works 40 hours a week is lazy.
Mm-hmm.
I work 40 hours a week. So I'm not trying to say that,
He's lazy.
I know what he was implying.
but there's a
It's
work
like,
ethic.
Right.
There's a work ethic that just seems to me is under attack here.
Sure.
Because you're looking out for what you assume is the victim.
I guess
and I just think it's just so dishonest right now. Look, you're right. Let's wait. Maybe there is some abuse going on at Rockstar, but you leading like that
is not
responsible.
Right.
And if something's going on, what's Jason Schreier will find out.
Yeah.
So that's all. That's my 2 cents.
It's definitely interesting.
2 cents.
It's like I would like to say I can understand why there's a little bit of like questioning though, just because it has been this consistently growing thing where it's like, hey, even though it's not in your contract, even though you're not obligated to do this, we're basically going to imply that you need and have to do this and you're not going to be compensated anyway, even though you're just like a basic programmer here, right?
It's called a salary versus a wage. If
Well,
you were a
sure.
salaried employee,
Well,
there's nowhere in your contract typically, I mean, at least in this state, there's nowhere in your contract saying that minimum 40 hours and no more.
sure.
If you're a salaried employee, you get the job done.
Yeah,
Period.
if you're salaried. But most of these people, I think, like the thing that's getting is like they're forced to do all that work, right? And that'd be great if
I can tell you an app dev
they're.
on a project like this is probably a salaried employee.
I would say it would be great if they're doing all that work, right? And it's kind of like as you said, like you're doing this hard work in fruition of growing within that company. But the thing that I think is alarm to everyone is that at the same time, after these games ship, we see at least in a number of these companies, like 1/3, if not greater, of the workforce then immediately get cut. So it's like you're being asked to push and do all these things, and then you don't get the, kind of, I guess, the benefits that are supposed to come from the hard work, right? You've got to hope that someone else has a job out there for you. And then you go and you get there and you're being asked to push again. And then you get let go. And it keeps going that cycle, which is why they're having that huge talk out there of like, do they need to unionize? Do they need to figure out some sort of standard? Or what? Does the industry need to change? And so I understand where the outrage is coming from as far as questioning things, right? But I definitely think it's like, okay.
Well, outrage doesn't question. Outrage accuses.
Yeah. Let's
1 minute monologue.
Let's wait until I do still agree. It's like, let's wait to actually see because I don't think the comment for something like this comes from the CEO, right? It's more of like what you saw going on, big problems that are going on right now that are worth noting are things like Riot Games and all that reporting coming out where it's not from the leadership where all the complaints are coming from. It's from people who have worked there or have are working there and their concerns with their company and the culture that's there. So that's where I would take more heart. So if that comes out, then then it's something to address.
No more Red Dead Redemption 3.
Trust me.
One of the coolest people listed, though, was Laszlo.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude.
He's in the game.
Yeah, I used to listen to Opie and Anthony, and he was always a guest, and he'd always have little tidbits of data and fun facts, and he was just a fun guy. It was cool to see and read his name. Hope he's doing well, John.
It's like, man, why aren't games as good as they used to be?
I hope he's doing well,
giving
John.
You a pivot. Or no, wait, it's actually your pivot.
No.
He didn't?
No.
Oh, no, yeah, it is your pivot.
Did you want to weigh up on it, though?
Yeah.
No, we're good.
No,
we're good. We're good, Sean.
I
But there is a rumor.
What's the rumor?
Assassin's Creed might be doing well.
Yeah?
Assassin's Creed Odyssey is reportedly enjoying the best launch sales in the series for this current console generation, beating out launch sales for Origins, Syndicate, and Unity. The developer credits high review scores and positive player feedback for the strong sales. No solid numbers were revealed, although we know that Origins sold twice as many as Syndicate in a 10-day period. Mm-hmm. It is also unclear if this stat includes sales for Black Flag, which released on both generations of consoles. Black Flag shipped 10 million units in 2 months.
Mm-hmm. Not surprising. Well received. Origins, as we said, did very well and had a lot of good feed, so I'd expect this to do well. I'm sure it will probably... I would be amazed if Assassin's Creed does not finish third for the month. I think I'll lock that one in right now, which any other month would probably mean they were the number one game. But unfortunately, they're releasing in October.
Yeah. Yeah?
The question is, which is second?
Well,
that's the question.
You did say Assassin's Creed's doing well, but so is Black Ops 4?
Question mark?
Maybe.
Call of Duty's off to a good start, it seems. Activision hasn't revealed sales numbers, but has released a couple of data points. According to the company, the game is the biggest day one digital release in the company's history. This doesn't mean that it's the biggest Call of Duty game ever, as the company did not release numbers for physical copies. Here's a lot of data that I'll quote directly from the Forbes article. Black Ops 4 became the best-selling day one full game on the PlayStation Store globally. The game became the best-selling Activision day one digital game on the Xbox Store. The release on Battle.net also saw a major boost, more than doubling PC digital sales over last year.
Something tells me the top one for that is either Overwatch or WoW.
Probably.
I would think WoW.
Possibly.
Yeah, for an expansion.
And finally, the last one is a bit odd, so I'll quote the press release. The, quote, total number of people who connected online to play Black Ops 4 increased from last year's release, end quote.
What we call this is, we call this a politicking to make sure your numbers sound good.
To me, the biggest news piece would be if the Call of Duty game didn't do good.
Yeah.
We all expect them to do good.
Sure.
Do we ever expect them to be groundbreaking and just sell all the games?
I think the thing that's clear is this, and I'm not surprised by this, is proof, and more people as I talk to, they're moving to digital. Like, everyone is seeing that is going to be the wave of the future because people like convenience. That's just the way it is.
But you know what they don't like? Their hard drives getting filled up.
Sure, but they can re-download it. That's what they've learned. They're fine with it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, why are you so confrontational?
Let me tell you.
Why don't you just calm down?
I love you
more.
But on the other hand, yeah, it's like we all know that for the most part, when these things are said, you try to say the best thing you can say, right? So it's like this. They didn't say this has sold more than World War II did the year before on its first day. They didn't say it's the best-selling Call of Duty launch this generation. They didn't say anything about physical stuff. And it's not like they don't know that already. They should already know that. It doesn't take them too long to get this information because they know what their pre-orders were. They know how much they shipped the stores.
What if this is just because they're humble and the numbers are ridiculous and they're just like, you know what? We're just not.
Activision is not humble.
Yeah, this is the company.
I'm doing this to set it up for you guys. Yeah. There's just a lot.
Call of Duty. They would, within days they used to announce things like this made $1 billion
Exactly.
in 2 days. I will say, in a court of law, circumstantial evidence is not evidence, but if you get enough circumstantial evidence, it can convict somebody.
Yeah.
That being said, let's flip it to anecdotal evidence. That is a lot of anecdotal evidence. Combining all that, I think all that says to me that Activision is extremely happy with how this game's doing.
Yeah.
I want to know what the best-selling day one digital game all time for Xbox is. Because, see, as you point out, it says the game became the best-selling Activision, which means it sold day one digitally more than either
Activision.
Destiny 2
Right.
or, I guess, Overwatch, those kinds of things, right? So if that's the case, what's the top-selling day one release on Xbox? I guess Halo 5?
Not a
Or
clue. I don't have a clue.
Gears of War 4?
It has to be one of those, right?
Watch
it be like Cuphead.
It's probably like, I don't know. It can't be Call of Duty. Dang it.
Right.
I don't know what it is.
It's,
Forza Horizon
it's
4.
probably Doom. And speaking of Bethesda,
Dream.
Whoa.
don't mess
with me, dude.
Don't mess with Bethesda and Xbox. Take our advice. Don't ever break an NDA.
John, what's an NDA?
A non-disclosure agreement.
That's right.
A player who participated in last Saturday's stress test for Fallout 76 apparently didn't know what an NDA was or thought he wouldn't be caught. He got caught and Bethesda and Xbox swooped in for the kill. Players who signed up for the stress test signed an NDA that prohibited the player from sharing of the game through photos, videos, etc. The offender's Twitter and Xbox, which Twitter I don't understand unless it's owned by Microsoft. The offender's Twitter and Xbox accounts were taken down. He received an email from Bethesda informing him he was banned from the stress test and beta until October 25th. The offender's Xbox Gold has been suspended until January 1st.
That hurts.
Which is required to play Fallout 76.
Then he's
He
going to
could play the
PlayStation.
PlayStation. Go to PlayStation.
To explain the Twitter part, because he published video that was not allowed to be published.
Therefore, Twitter had to act.
Therefore, Microsoft contacts
Therefore,
Twitter and says,
henceforth.
hey, you're putting this thing up, and the moment you do that, then Twitter's going to say, hey, you broke our
By
rules.
violating any NDA, you violated Twitter's
Exactly,
policies.
because that makes us legally liable.
Contractually binded.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Fun fact.
That makes sense.
If you're going to do something like this, it's cool to talk about with your friends. If I get invited into a beta here, a private beta, as much as I love you all, as far as I'm talking to you, the listeners, these two,
Show your face.
I am not ever going to get on a mic and then promptly say things that I am not allowed to say because that's what an NDA is. So,
And a lot of times you're
Just keep
signing
that
up for
in
these
mind.
things, and you're just literally saying, I acknowledge to this thing as the game loads up, and you may miss that it's an NDA, but it's always there.
yeah.
So pay attention so you don't get stuff like this
I had it
happening
with
to you.
Sea of Thieves. I've gotten invited to that alpha, and it clearly says, it's laid out in black and white on that page when you accept to be part of the alpha. It said you cannot post video or share images without first getting the approval of the studio to do so. Or to talk about it or anything like that in a place that is published for.
Well, apparently the Harry Potter open world game, which I don't know, did we ever talk about it?
We mentioned
We
it.
might have just jumped over.
Yeah.
How that goes is I think somebody was walking around a mall or some kind of platform like that, had them sign an NDA, then show them the game to get feedback on the game. And somebody broke an NDA there too.
Yeah. Now they got
glad
lucky.
they did,
I
though.
think that's like a harder one to track, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
I think Shaun did it.
you're dumb.
It's the only game I'm ever going to play if it's real.
I believe you.
I'm sure.
Like, y'all don't understand.
Which, speaking of Harry Potter, I haven't heard you talk about Pops in a long time. Have they sort of dropped off for you?
I went and found a Hermione Granger Barnes & Noble exclusive.
Yeah, they got like ones from I think book 2 out, right?
Yeah.
I know what it is. We never do lunch anymore, and we never do GameStop anymore.
Is this going on the air right now?
Nope, it's not. I'm just realizing why that association is. You're constantly we're always looking at Pops wherever we go, and that just hasn't happened that much.
Listeners, write in with your
I'm
thoughts
fine.
as to why.
You're fine.
Listeners, write in.
Everything's okay.
Listeners, write into weeklygameschat@gmail.com and tell us why you think Shaun hates John and doesn't have lunch with him.
And also, who's going to win the Shaun versus John fist fight?
Shaun. You almost got bleeped.
Yes.
Look, I'm looking forward to something in November. Shaun, do you know what it is?
Is it? Is it? No. Darksiders 3, John? Is there some DLC coming out?
Possibly.
Oh, THQ Nordic, the savior of orphaned video game franchises, announced that it will be releasing 2 pieces of DLC for Darksiders 3.
Dilk.
Titled The Crucible and Keepers of the Void.
Yeah.
The DLC packs will feature a new puzzles, weapons, and armor. Neither DLC pack has a date or price announced. All we know is that both will be available post-launch. Darksiders 3 will release on November 27th, and this John, is going to play it.
So in the Crucible DLC, is that where Fury decides that she's going to try to protect John Proctor from the Salem witch trials?
It's the movie The Crucible with
the play. Thank you. It was play first. Then
he should be punched for that.
Yeah, he should be.
In the throat area.
I just want people to get the right thing. I mean, it is a play.
We're sorry, playwright Lockard.
Well,
I had to read it.
Okay? But let's stay in the depths of hell for just a second and talk about the possible new Diablo game.
I cannot wait if this is true.
Yeah. Blizzard has announced its merchandise for its BlizzCon 2018 event, which I think is next month.
Yes.
It's in November.
I think it's around November 18th.
It would seem that a few of the
November
items...
2nd.
November 2nd?
It's right there.
It would seem that a few of the items show a possible new title for an upcoming piece of content, Diablo Reign of Terror, which is what Shaun has named his Richard this week.
It's possible.
This is leading to speculation of a new title in the Diablo series. We will know more. Look, November 2nd.
Yeah.
That's why I said, it's November 2nd.
I write it, don't memorize it.
Ooh.
It's been 6 years since Diablo 3 was
crazy.
released. It was. But it's typically a longer span of time.
Crazy,
isn't it?
though.
Well, yeah, but it was a different time.
Dude, this game is still selling.
Yeah. I didn't include this, but there's a Switch bundle
Yeah.
with Diablo 3.
Yeah,
Right.
It's been 6 years since Diablo 3 was released, and Blizzard has announced multiple projects in the works.
Yeah, and they're still hiring like crazy on Blizzard.
This shows, to me, why, things like what Blizzard does and Bethesda software. I personally think it's better when things have very long legs and gaps between iteration, because I guarantee
legs and gaps.
Legs in terms of you're updating, you're giving things to people as far as updates periodically, but you wait to release the new thing, because when it finally does come, even though I doubt Diablo 4 will be some groundbreaking thing of gameplay
This
for
just
dungeon
in, Diablo
crawlers.
4, the groundbreaking
Yeah,
thing.
right. I doubt it, because Diablo 3 really isn't overwhelmingly groundbreaking from Diablo 2 outside of the online multiplayer element being built in.
Off.
But whenever 4 comes out, everyone's gonna want to play that game, even though it's primarily the same thing, and it will be the same thing with when we get to the next Elder Scrolls game, right? Whenever that finally hits, and people are like, "It's been 10 long years since I've gotten out of Skyrim." So
I mean, but there's certain developers who have the credibility to keep longevity going, and not everybody can do it.
Yeah, some are bad.
I heard Shaun's longevity is amazing.
Is this
what?
is this the one?
Yeah, this is the one.
No, this is the one.
Yeah, so
This is the one, John.
This is it.
finally this week.
Oh yeah.
Finally this week.
John.
Finally this week.
The Legend of Zelda. Nintendo Switch Online, NSO, gain access to a ROM version of The Legend of Zelda.
Ooh.
Yeah. The version will start you out with every item in the game and 255 rupees.
Of course.
Yeah. You need a pretty big rupee sack for that one or not, John? Huh? Yeah. According to Nintendo's description, quote, you'll begin with all equipment, including the white sword, the magical shield, the blue ring, and even the power bracelet. But if Ganon's still giving you a hard time, the power of money will overcome. Just buy yourself some more items and give it another shot. Beating the game once grants you access to a more difficult version of the game called, this is so original. It's not the first quest, guys. It's called the second quest.
It's just New Game Plus.
And there's always been a second quest, right?
I don't know.
I thought once you beat it, they moved everything around.
What do you mean moved it around? Like shuffled things and whatnot?
Like
Don't burn that bush, burn that bush.
Oh, I love a bush.
What? You guys,
Now you know the answer to this.
do you want to wrap this up?
Never, ever.
Just to be safe.
Electronic mail from the future.
Emails.
Hurry up, I'm going to tune out.
Yeah.
You're already tuning out.
This is when you bail. Like Christian. Do the Batman thing right now.
Wear me! Sorry.
Oh, that's good stuff.
I've only got one rule. And that's... I can't do it. I can't do the joke right now. I used to be able to do them. Which one are you going after? Rachel! So many of them. Rachel! All right. If you want to...
Alfred!
Oh, Batman Begins.
Yeah. Anyway.
Spelunking.
Hey! Is that a thing? That's a thing.
That was in Batman Begins. What do you need all this gear for, Mr. Wayne? Spelunking. Get attacked by many dogs while you do this. Or whatever it is. I can't remember the line. Emails. If you want to write in your thoughts and opinions to Weekly Games Chat, you can do so by writing in to weeklygameschat@gmail.com. Just like Mott with one T did so. He says, simply this week, note to self, never board a plane with Laura Croft. That's fair and accurate.
It's worth it.
Yeah. I would also say don't get on a boat with her either.
Pretty much.
Just don't travel with her and you'll be fine.
She's a walking disaster.
Yeah.
I really need to open up the second one and start playing it.
Next up, Rob writes in. He says, Dear gentlemen,
What's up,
he's
Rob?
asking for social engagement advice, by the way.
Okay.
It's the title of the email. My wife and I, your wife.
His wife.
Yeah, that was weird to do. We're looking forward to attending a Friday night hoedown. They have
I'm
those
down,
out there?
dude. Yeah.
Held at Virginia Beach Farmers Market on the evening of Friday, October 26th, primarily due to the popular band New City Sound having been booked to perform on that date. Based on historical weather patterns in the area, I believe the evening should be free from rain and the temperature should be in the mid-50s to low 60s. That's perfect. Which would be ideal for the venue. As a regular listener of your fine show, I'm greatly concerned, however, that the event will be compromised. Or I'm sorry, yeah, I think he means compromised. Due to the scheduled release of Red Dead Redemption 2 on the same day. Please advise as to whether you think we should consider the necessity of coordinating with other suitable alternative entertainment options based on what I must assume is extremely high probability of New City Sound rescheduling their appearance at the hoedown in order to avoid what would likely be an embarrassingly low turnout. At this point, we have no choice other than to rely on your expertise and eagerly await your response to the conundrum. Very truly yours, Rob from Virginia.
Chris, that was a hot mess.
Sounds like a great event. Have fun.
Here's the deal. We just reported that the game is at least 60 hours, right? If you're going to play through it.
So no one's going to be there because they're going to be
No,
playing.
that's not true. You go enjoy the hoedown on Virginia Beach. Because first of all, that just sounds fun. And I don't know this new band, this New City Sound thing you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I'm going to look them up. And maybe I'll come see him one day. Who knows, Rob? But I'll tell you what. You go do your thing with your wife.
Your wife.
And Red Dead will be there for you.
I'm in agreement. I would say this to anybody who is married or has a loved one. Mm-hmm. Do not, under any circumstances, choose a video game over your loved ones. Period. But I'm sure he's not.
Yeah,
I give him the benefit of the doubt.
We understand it, Chris. Don't explain what he just did, Christopher.
But he's not asking you to choose.
But if he's really desperate and he lives in a 2-story house, I say fling yourself down the stairs by accident.
Rob,
just don't break your hands.
Rob, don't listen to these idiots. You're right to worry. No one's going to be at this stupid New City Sound. I don't know why they would ever do this. Taylor Swift has canceled her concerts.
You think
she's bigger than New City Sound.
What?
I have no proof to back that up. Question from Joseph. He says, "What up, dudes?
What up, Joseph?
Recently found the podcast. Have been listening to it religiously for a few days now while at work. Big fan.
Big fan.
It's been a while. But I believe in a past episode, John, you didn't spell it right, Joseph, mentioned he never played the first Red Dead Redemption. I highly recommend he play it at some point. In my small opinion, it's one of the best stories I've ever played. What are the best in-game stories you guys have ever played? Top 3? Keep up the good work, Joseph."
Joseph, don't you dare worry about misspelling my name. I don't care.
I'm here to
His
hold
real
these
name's not
people
even John
accountable.
anyway. I'm just saying. Wait, what?
It's Smith.
I'll say one of the best game stories I've ever played was Last of Us. Completely loved that story. Had me compelled every step of the way. Thinking of a top 3. I don't know.
I'm going to go with...
I'd like to think about that one. But that was the first one that popped out of,
I was going to go with NCAA College Football 2010 because
Road
the
to
story that I took with my boys, he went to the University of Alabama and took the job away from A.J. McCarron and rose to eventually play in Madden NFL 10 was that of legend. But seriously, top 3 in no particular order: Mass Effect 2, Witcher 3, and probably Knights of the Old Republic. Probably my top 3 favorite stories in games.
Solid.
Actually, let me strike out Knights of the Old Republic, and I'm going to sub that in for, it was just on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, BioShock. Oh. Thank you.
That's just terrible.
Mm-hmm. Johnny, you got any?
I guess I have to put you 2 in a sandwich and say
Delicious.
Last of Us is a good story. Probably pound for pound the best story in an action game ever made. BioShock is up there as well. It's BioShock.
It's terrible.
Yeah. What else?
I wanted to think of a Zelda.
That's the thing. Putting everything else aside, the best story was definitely Skyward Sword. That game you didn't play because
Rim was out.
Rim.
Yeah.
Who came out, yeah.
Real swords.
Yeah.
Finally here, Ever wrote back in. A couple of weeks ago, he was talking about how he couldn't get the podcast art anymore because he was using service. Yeah. So he wrote us back in. He says, Assassin's Creed Odyssey Week 180, podcast art didn't update. But the whole podcast section of Google Play Music sucks, so don't worry about it. Instead, I took your suggestion and joined the Facebook page of Weekly Games Chat. Ooh, at least there I can partake in the beauty that is the weekly game art.
Welcome to the community, Ever.
Also, I'm playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Even with these 3 weeks in between Odyssey and Red Dead 2, I find myself having to skip side missions just to truck through the lengthy campaign. I chose to play as Cassandra after watching some YouTube game footage. I'm pretty sure I made the correct choice. I'm loving the game. Y'all are right. It's Origins 2.0. Just hope these next 2 weeks are enough for me to finish because Red Dead 2, if anything like Odyssey, is the game that is probably going to take me through until January 25th, 2019, which is when Resident Evil 2 comes out. Game on, guys.
I was going to let you finish, but game on, Ever.
Yeah. And keep Spartan kicking people off cliffs. Always.
Look, I've got some insider information. I've got people that I know
You got
that
people?
are already working on Red Dead reviews. One of the headlines that one of them is going to use is just it's Assassin's Creed Odyssey with horse balls. So just keep playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. There's really no need to move on to RDR2.
Did you watch the donkey video?
Yes.
I loved it.
He did not like the game.
No, he hates Assassin's Creed, but the funny part is at the very end of the video, he's like, it's not like you're putting down an open world game 2 weeks before Rockstar releases their next thing, and he just starts laughing at him and just credit.
Yeah, I don't think Assassin's Creed has to worry about a thing. Particularly since Assassin's Creed didn't get out of Red Dead's way. That's not how it worked this year.
Seemed like it did.
You can seem like, I mean, well,
normally it would come out this Friday.
but Assassin's Creed Odyssey announced their release date before Red Dead ever did.
Did it?
Yeah, it did.
Did it?
Fact check. John's right.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
I just did in my brain.
I don't believe your brain.
It took forever to get a Red Dead release date.
I know we had a comment.
That's usually after the Twitter, man.
Well, I was going to do that.
Man.
Hey.
Man.
This is the little baby I deal with every week. Don't touch my microphone. That's you. That's how you sound.
That day.
That's how I read your
comments.
comments.
The mic. That was almost the end of the trifecta. You're touching my mic. Stop touching my mic.
Clay wrote in for this week's episode on Facebook, and he said, "Oh snap!" when I posted the weekly games chat art for the week, which is of course for Call of Duty. Man, if I had the patience to play this game, I definitely would. With Battlefield 5, Red Dead, still have to play through the Spider-Man story, and Forza Horizon 4, not sure I will at all. Change my mind, maybe. Game on. You should play all those other ones. One more thing. Do you think the reason Playground stayed in Britain was because of their supposed work on a Fable reboot?
Yes.
Yes. And that it's really hard to move a company from a different country, you know? It would make more sense if, like, they were going to do this, like, and they were just expanding to a different Playground, that the new office would be somewhere else versus moving Playground, which is in London.
Oh,
to
I
America.
thought it meant keeping the game setting in England, which is, I thought that's what.
No.
You're dumb. I'm kidding. I just had to say it. Don't get John.
He's dumb. You know who's not dumb? Those who follow us on Twitter, Sean. They can do so at Weekly Games Chat on Twitter. What'd they write us?
Friend of the show, old at Big Riff. He goes, at Weekly Games Chat, most of the time Sean will jump in and read my mind with a well-timed quote, "Oh yeah," or "I bet you did." So this is hilarious. How did Chris get away saying, "I'm always here grinding away to get wood"? How did that slip by without comment? I don't know. I chuckled when I read this, and I'm disappointed in myself to the point where I actually replied, and I told him, my bad, sir. I'll tighten up. That's what she said. LOL.
I try to give you these gems, and sometimes you strike out.
It's just swinging them in a whiff.
Yep.
Good friend at Hell Teacher Loki. Remember, he's the one that told us about our
Hell
problem.
Teacher Loki.
Yeah. John laughs every time I say that name, which makes it great. He said at Weekly Games Chat, remember when we were talking about the BC, what it stood for and all that stuff? BCE and all that?
Yeah.
Before Christ event, big country events, before Christ, EST, Abdo Domine.
I want to believe it's big country.
We
events.
said all that stuff, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
He says, I have not heard so much mistake about a single topic I had to pause. Otherwise, I'll die laughing. LOL. And I think I replied, and I put good stuff, because it was. And he said to that was pure comedic gold, guys. You never ran out of jokes. We try not to. We try to just keep on.
Your old big country event.
How did we?
Big country event.
It's
Abdo Domine is correct, though.
Is it?
That's not a joke.
Is it?
People used to say after death. Well, no, it's not after death. Because that
It's
means
Latin.
if it's before Christ and then after death, there's a 33-year span that is just never mind.
I see what you're saying. We had a lot of love again.
I like love.
We're at 4P Gaming, and everybody mentions several podcasts and shows they like. We're on that, so thank you guys so much
great.
for that love.
Woohoo!
We get a lot of mentions and retweets on that, and hopefully, some of you guys see us and come listen. It'd be great. And now I think I'm going to go ahead and see who we got new to the following. At Martin Zavril. Thank you so much for the following you back. Martin is in the Czech Republic, y'all, in Prague.
Ooh.
So that's pretty dope.
They had
Shout out to
the red velvet, or what was it called? The Velvet Revolution? I don't know. It was one of them things that took place.
At Serb69 Shrexy. Thank you for the following you back. And if you guys want to check out the Twitch, it's at Shrexy. So think of like sexy, but with a shr. Serb69. And they're daily on with streams and clips and funny content. So that's super cool. Thanks for the follow. And finally, at Real Herm the Germ.
That's a great name.
Thank you thank you so much for the following you back. And that's it. Like Chris said, you can find us on the Twitters at Weekly Games Chat. And yeah, that's it.
This has been episode 175 of Weekly Games Chat. I don't know what the heck we're doing for 176, but we got to figure something out.
Mario's Party.
We could do that. Invite the Slade.
So we don't have anything?
Or I got the VR game.
I'm very scared to say yes to that because then you'll propose something and I'll be like, ugh.
I don't know what that means.
It's just a natural reaction.
We could get Mario Parties.
I was about to complain.
I would love Mario Party.
I was about to complain
that
IGN has yet to release a review for Starlink Battle for Atlas.
Oh, yeah.
That game is out today.
Yeah? You want to pick it up with its 76 Metacritic?
We could rock a combined.
Do I have a problem with a 76 Metacritic? Not at all.
That's why I asked you.
We could rock a combined Switch review.
If someone powered through this week, we could do a spoiler cast on Spider-Man.
I don't think that's good.
It's been a while.
It's still a great game, but
we could just power through and do an Assassin's
You're not
Creed
as high
spoiler.
as it on it anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's still the best game this year for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those of you following at home, that means it's number one.
I would say Assassin's Creed spoiler cast, but there's no way. I still can't beat that game.
I could definitely get through the story. I need to. He went to the Olympics, so that's
what does that even mean, Chris?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a great story on the way to that I will not spoil, and you're going to know
Would
it.
I
because
miss
the
it?
No, because the moment you see the name of the character, you're going to laugh. I'm not going to tell you what the name is, but you're going to laugh, and it's pretty funny. It's one of the funny moments of the game.
I was thinking about just getting the XP boost.
Also, speaking of like European countries, I got a real friend, guys, playing the Firewall 0 Hour VR game from a guy in Belgium. How cool is that? That's cool, right?
They're very passive.
He's like Belgium.
They're like, hey, we're invaded now. All right.
What is that, Chris?
World War I and II.
Yeah. That's a little bit of history knowledge on us there, John.
I'm dumb.
If you like the show, subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever podcast service you like to use. Apparently, Ever, unfortunately, uses Google Play and therefore does not get podcast art. So maybe if you like podcast art, check us out on Stitcher, or you can even go to YouTube. And you will get a new episode every Wednesday, just like this one. If you're on that site of subscriptions and they have some sort of rating system, generally 5 stars, maybe 10 stars, give us a top review. Helps people find the show. And if you hate us, give us half a score and do what, Sean?
Double it. Oh my God, I should have done that.
Sean just blew himself up.
I should not have done that.
But
take it in half and double it, Chris.
yes, because everyone knows one below the top score is always
A lowest score.
Yeah, that's a sign of hatred.
How did I Dutch oven myself with no covers?
I don't know.
Because of the ooey gooey.
Oh my God,
That's tremendous power. If you like us, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Weekly Games Chat. And if you want to write in your opinions, just like Ever, Matt, Rob, and others did this week.
Did you just make those up?
No.
Pretty
Pretty sure. Oh, and Joseph. I almost forgot Joseph.
So unsure.
I was like, was it Rob or Robert? No, I can't remember that.
Hey, and our super secret anniversary has officially happened now.
Yes, she liked the episode on the Facebooks.
Very nice. So
I saw she did that.
Was fun.
At least I'm going to presume it was her because the name was Joe. Until
Biden.
next time, I will simply say, game on, Sean.
Why do you look like that when you say it?
I don't know, because
Game
I
on.
feel like I'm looking at your heart.
Game on, Chris.
Why does
Game
he?
on, John.
Why does he always game on you first? Game on, Chris and Sean.
Because it's the thing.
Yeah, it's the order.
It's the thing.
I don't like the thing.
Yeah, you do.
The thing gets people killed.
That's not what you said.
I don't know
last
what
night.
that means.
I don't either. And what am I talking about? Game on, John.
You're talking about your mom's box.
Hey, ooh,
That's weird.
well played. What do I say? Oh, peace. Peace out, everybody.
Thug life.